Hi, and welcome to Power and Purpose, a conversation sponsored by BeautyClick KE. I'm Victoria Rubadiri. I'm a journalist, I'm a TV show host, I'm a mom, I'm a youth mentor, and I love to have conversations. I'm so excited about this. I'll have my other co-hosts introduce themselves.
My name is Pinky Gilani. I'm a high-level influencer with UNHCR. I'm a mom, a media personality, and I'm really looking forward to being here today to learn, inspire, and empower.
Hi, I'm Janet Mbogwandisho. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm a media personality, social mission champion with different organizations like Unilever and my own, the Nuadada Foundation. I'm a mom, and I really love people just kind of learning the best version of themselves and loving who they are. So I'm so happy to be here with these incredible women and have a great conversation today.
Hi, my name is Wanja Kibuki. I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm dealing with education for children in slums, and I'm also a youth mentor. And I'm really glad to be here and to have such conversations.
Hi, my name is Wawera Njiru, and I am a social entrepreneur and also a nutritionist, so passionate about food, children's access to food, and passionate about education as well, so children having access to food while in school. I'm excited to be here because I am excited about conversations, especially with amazing women like the ones we have today. So I can't wait to get into it.
Okay, great. So this segment is called Power and Purpose. Two very heavy, weighty words when you think about it. And when it comes to women, my first question really to all of you is, what does power look like to you in whatever form or person or entity? I guess I can start and say power to me is a made-up mind. It's very hard to shake someone who knows exactly what they want. I mean, it could be a terrible decision that you made, but you made it. So for me, I think power is a made-up mind. I don't know about you, Pinky.
Power is your capacity to influence, whether good or bad. You know, again, power is, you know, it is a big word, and there's a lot you can do when you have power. So of course it is that way of influencing. Are you able to influence not just one, but a lot of people? And if so, how are you doing that?
Yeah. Wow. I feel like power is not just a knowledge of self, it's an appreciation of self. The more I'm getting older and learning so much about myself and the world, I'm like, you have to be so in tune with who you are, because I feel like that's the only way you can grasp your own power. And then once you have that, you're able to do so much with it. So I really think power is, I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I'm not afraid to share it with other people. That's how I see it. So yeah.
For me, power is two things. That one, no is a complete sentence, no matter how old or young you are. And also the fact that you can actually follow your passion and just go through with it and change lives no matter what everyone says. Yeah.
I agree with all those really great definitions. And to add to that, I'll quote the Queen, Beyonce, and say that power is influencing people to stand with dignity and giving people, having the ability to make people see themselves as people who have dignity, who are able to stand up in the world and be who they're meant to be. So I think power is internally having yourself, knowing yourself and being able to express that in a way that helps other people around you know themselves and see themselves in a way that they have dignity as well.
I think we can just end the conversation right there. You know, once you quote Beyonce, it's like we're done. So we've dealt with the power side, and let's talk more on purpose, because yeah, they are hand in hand when you think about what am I here on earth to do? What am I supposed to do with my influence, my platform? And a lot of you have that. I know for me, when people ask, you know, is this what you wanted to do? And I'll say yes and no, because it has been organic growth into the platform that I have now. I want to have impact with whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever space I'm in. So it's never been about the thing itself, but more of who is getting something out of whatever it is I've done or said or who I am, you know, and not from a place of pride or influence, but really feeling that you've made a difference in someone's life. And that's what it's all about. But I'm not sure for you, Pinky, what it's been, the journey so far.
So my journey is very interesting because I constantly feel like I'm learning myself. With every step of the way, it's something new. I discover who I am. And with every challenge, with everything that's good that's happening in my life, I always try to internalize, look within and sort of say, how do I grow from this and who am I because of this? Your purpose in life could be just to come here and touch one person's life. It doesn't have to be millions of people. It could be just, and maybe it's just through one sentence. It doesn't have to be cooking an entire meal. But you know, that's what purpose is. But then what I try and do with my career, with my life as a mother, with my life as just, you know, being Pinky, is try and find that purpose wherever I am.
I like that. Find it wherever you go. Yeah. Purpose is, for me at least, it's the thing that sticks. It's the thing that you do that can change a life, and it sticks, and it just feels so good. I love being able to see even one life changed through whatever it is I'm doing. Sometimes someone will say, what you said that day changed the way I think about things, or what you did for that girl or boy. And so purpose is that thing that sticks, that's about you using your platform and your good and your knowledge to give back, to pay it forward in a way that's not forced, in a way that's not about getting the accolades. It's just about it sticks, it feels right, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I love living a life of purpose. I think it's strange to live a life without purpose. I think it's empty. And so purpose is the one thing that if you have a void, you haven't found your purpose. If you find your purpose, then that's the kind of life I think that you live organically. So that's what it means to me, yeah.
So my journey has been a bit short, but I feel like I sort of discovered my purpose slightly younger than most people did. And it was like when I was asked, so what's your burning? What makes you wake up at night? What gets you angry? And at that point, I wanted to be a career diplomat, but I was like, no, children in the slums don't have access to the type of education that I did. So that's when my whole life turned around, and I was like, no, I can't sleep because of this, so this is what I'm going to do. So I still don't feel like I've found it yet, but I'm on my way there.
So there's impact how you treat your mother, how you treat your friends, how you treat your children. And that is finding purpose, like finding purpose in terms of how you see yourself, how you're able to see those people around you, and seeing them as, you know, people who are, I don't know, I'm going back to the deserving of dignity and deserving of love and care and concern as you deserve how you treat yourself. Yeah, so I think that's, I like the kind of definition of going around and finding it as you go along, because I think for me, I'm very happy with my life in terms of the work that I do and the place that I'm in my life. But I know that probably in 10 years, I'll be jittery and wanting to do something else, and then I'll have to find what else makes me tick, what else makes me happy, and I'm okay with that in terms of it being an evolving process of just how life is.
It's interesting. Can I just add something? I just feel like the way you said it, the way you treat yourself, I think so much comes from that. Even the fact that everyone here is living a life of purpose. Yeah. And again, I just feel like you have to be so in tune and treat yourself so well that you feel like this is something I want to share. Yeah. Yes. You know, because without that, then it's difficult to do it, because you're so clouded by your own unhappiness, and you're blinded by all the obstacles you're putting in front of yourself, which is why I really wish more people were just a bit more self-aware, because the moment you begin that healing process, then you're like, oh, I really want to use this to share or to impact, yeah.
No, I was going to say that, you know, we always say self-love, self-love, but there's a very fine line between self-love and complete, when you become conceited. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But then self-love, when it's just being, you know, it's echoing what we're all saying. It's being authentic to who you are, finding and living that, you know, just speaking it, thinking it, and actually.
And it's a never-ending journey.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm so curious to find out from you guys. How do you carry out that self-care and self-love? I mean, honestly, because we can talk about it, but we have to be Pinky. But we have to be practical, because there are a lot of women watching thinking, you guys have it. You know, you've arrived in quotes. And I can tell you, no, 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 absolutely not. It's still a learning process, like you've heard from everyone. But that self-acceptance, it's still a journey. There's times where you'll mess up, you fall flat on your face. But I always say, fall forward or fail forward. For me, it's being a loving person to the people around me, and then they're able to give that back to me, and all of a sudden I'm okay. It may not be perfect every day. I'll have days where I doubt myself and I don't feel I'm good enough, or I don't deserve this platform. Give it to someone else, you know? And I wonder if a lot of you go through that imposter syndrome sometimes, where you're wondering, how did I get here? Why are these people following me? You know? But how do you deal with that? You know, at times you're just wondering, I'm not supposed to be here, you know?
I was thinking about this morning. I remember there was a time when I think it was about 10 or 15 years ago, on a weekly, if not daily basis, I was featured in the paper, in the newspapers. And I remember it got to a point where a Saturday morning I was sitting in my bed and I'm like, oh my God, I'm being watched. But then you find a way where there is gratitude. You're grateful. And it's not only for, oh, this is what I have, but also for what lacks in your life, you know, so that you realize what you want, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you're grateful for that void, and you're like, okay, I know that this is missing, and I know that this is what I will do to achieve it. Yeah. You were talking about self-care and self-love, and I think it's so important because more often than not, we do not put ourselves ahead of everyone else. Yeah. It's looking after yourself to a point where you know that you are important. It's accepting yourself and then being okay with things that go wrong. Yeah. And also saying, I'm only human. There's only so much I can do. And that's okay as well.
You want to talk about imposter syndrome? Let's have a conversation. The news is something I avoided getting into because I was like, I'm not deserving of it. And so eventually when I did, even 2-3 years in, I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I fooling the world? It took a very long time, by the way, for me to just be like, it's okay, this is a good platform, be at peace. But I feel like for the longest time I struggled with either you're not supposed to be here, or sooner or later they're going to find out that you're not that great. I don't know. It was just very strange. And again, it took me beginning to say, you really need to stop living your life the way people expect it to be lived. You need to sit down and figure out who you really are and get in touch with that. And so this journey of really coming into my own has actually been very short. It's been maybe 2-3 years. It started with I know a lot of it is to do with my son coming into my life. I feel like it was such an awakening. It's almost like he reintroduced me to who I am, because there's so many things I realized I needed to reprioritize. And when I took a moment to step back from everything and there was silence and just nothing but me, that was probably the greatest gift that God gave me, because I was able to be very upfront with myself. I love that I still have a lot to figure out, but I figured out enough to wake up every day and want to do the things I want to do, because I'm like, I know I'm not maybe necessarily great at this, or I'm good at this, or this is where I thrive, this is what holds me back, and continuing to grow and improve myself. So it's a good place to be. It's still a journey, but I just wouldn't want it any other way. That's the only way I think I can create the kind of impact I want to. You asked earlier, have you arrived? Not even. I think the day you wake up and feel like you've arrived, there's a problem. If Oprah doesn't think she's arrived, I'm just saying.
Starting so young, and there was so much pressure, all the media, everyone coming up, oh my God, and I'm like, I still don't know what I'm doing. And you guys will find out that I have no idea what I'm doing. I studied diplomacy, not education, so I can't give you statistics. Like, it was so much, and I had to learn in such a short period. And I was constantly beating myself up. I'm like, no, like, it's been so and so years, we've not done A, B, and C. So it was really hard. And last year I went through a journey and I was like, no, you're doing great. And forgive yourself. Tell yourself, I am sorry for everything I've put you through, and now let's move on. And I think after I went through that stage, then now imposter syndrome has become easier to deal with. So I'm like, you know what? No, I deserve that. Thank you.
It was just like last week that I was sitting somewhere in a retreat, in a conference, and thinking, like, all these people around me, and I was the youngest person. I was I was with people who I never expected to be sitting in a room with. And I felt like, oh my God, they're going to find out that I'm not supposed to be here, and then I'll be kicked out. So I was just sitting there waiting for someone to come and tap me behind my back and say, excuse me, what do you think you're doing here again, you know? And I had to keep reminding myself like that when that thought creeped up was like, Wawera, look, this is something that you've worked for, you know, you deserve to be here just as everyone else. What I'm trying to put into my routine is ways of self-love, ways of reminding myself who I am, and ways that I enjoy spending time, you know, because as Pinky said, we spend a lot of time giving, and we don't spend time giving ourselves, and spending time with ourselves and loving ourselves and, you know, like treating yourself and things like that. So I'm trying to work that more into my routine. I'm on the journey of doing that better, yeah.
I love something that Wanja, you said about forgiving yourself. For people who know my story or not, I was a teen mom. And for the longest, I was constantly punishing myself for this huge mistake that I felt, oh, nothing good that comes to me will I ever be deserving of. So now even when I get to this point in my life, and I think that's why that imposter voice is so much stronger and louder, it's because at times you can be that 18 or 17-year-old who messed up and never grew out of that moment. And for me, thank goodness I'm not there anymore, but it was my story for a bit, you know, and I really learned the importance of, yes, forgiving yourself and allowing that moment to be a moment, not to define your journey, right? And then realizing that when you do get to a point where you do have a platform, share the story, share the mistakes, share that you're not perfect, that this journey is never about you. You know, it's about someone drawing from, yes, the lessons that you've learned. And this is now, I guess, the perfect segue into that whole story of being too ambitious as a woman. So you've dealt with imposter, and then now you've accepted your wins, and then someone tells you, you're doing too much, right? And then also having to deal with the balance of no, this season is for motherhood and marriage. Okay, then if you want to do the career thing, put that aside and now go into career, and never being able to do both, at least being told that you can't do both. And I'm really curious to hear, at least from the two of you, married, children, and still being able to do what you do with business, career. How did you make it work? And are you still on that journey to making it work?
Wow. Okay, just to let you know about being a teen mom or making mistakes whenever in our journey is that one thing I always, it's a mantra that I use, is that I did the best that I could at the time. So, you know, that's also very, yeah, it's something that you can use, and it allows you to go forward. So, being too ambitious. There was a time when somebody called me and he goes, you know, Pinky, you're such a go-getter. And he said it in such a negative way. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, no, you shouldn't. I'm like, but why? I want to achieve certain things in my life, and I will go for whatever I can. No, it's not good to be a go-getter. Just relax. And I was like, no. Relax. Just take it easy. And I'm like, oh my, I mean, like, you know, and this is where we have to sort of just focus as women, sort of just put those naysayers aside. Whatever, sometimes it comes from men, sometimes it comes from women. But for me, I just always said, okay, this is my end goal, this is what I want to achieve. Yes, there came a time where I was like, oh my gosh, biological clock. I got married at 30, which, so old. So old. And then I had difficulty conceiving. So I had losses of pregnancies, which took me away from now, you know, my work. But I had to prioritize. I was like, okay, this is where I need to be. This is what I want to do. I want to get pregnant and I want to have kids. But a lot of people assumed, oh, she stopped working because she wanted to have kids. But no, it wasn't anything to do with that. And I'm very lucky to have a supportive husband and a family who understands that this is where I want to go in my life. So they do support it.
2016, towards the end, I started feeling overwhelmed. I just started feeling like something's got to give. I haven't cracked, but I might. And so that's one of the things I just started being honest with. I know that there's women who incredibly are able to balance. That's cool. I mean, I'm all for that. But I was able to be vulnerable enough to just tell myself, something has to give. When you love the job you do and when you want to be good at it, it becomes very demanding. So I'm not a slacker. I will work. But I was like, I'm struggling with the balance. And I still have a great support system from my mom to a nanny, whatever it is. But I still felt like something's got to give. And so that's one of the reasons I made that decision. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made, just for the sake of my healthy mind and healthy soul and healthy everything. I was able to achieve getting to know my son. He'd reached a point where he didn't really know me. He was more comfortable with the nanny or whatever. It just broke my heart. And then I was able to embark on passion projects, which I'm still fulfilling, which I'm hoping will roll out later this year. But I was like, I can actually dig my nails in and get this done, and reestablishing relationships that I'd lost. So for some reason, all of that was very important to me at the time. Some people thought it was the craziest thing to do. But again, I'm very good at shutting out noise. I'm very good. I've learned 10 years in media just teaches you to focus on Janet's journey. Not everyone will get it. Very few will be happy for you. And so I did that. I became very in tune, and I said, I feel good. I'm at peace. I'm now growing my family. And there's every chance that I'm going to go back on TV. But this time I'll be ready, I'll be healthier, and I'll have found a better balance. As women, I think we can take on literally a million things. We can. And I feel like I'm one of those people who can take on so many things. But the question is, do I want to? And I realize the answer is no. I'm like, a step at a time.
The last 2.5 years, my mom had a stroke, so she lost her ability to talk, and she's paralyzed. So that was the biggest blow to me, because that's when I realized who she is in my life and how every little thing I would go to her and talk to her about it. And she was my circle of support. She was the person who was like, oh, forget what everyone else is saying, go do it. You know, she was the one who was like, so what if you're 30? And this is in an Indian community where, oh my gosh, if you're not 25 and 3 kids, goodness, what are you doing, you know? So she was the one who'd always be that person. So now, without that voice, I have to be that voice.
I think it's so important to have a support system. I don't know if it matters if it's men or women. Having women as a support system is so crucial because there's that sisterhood. But just having a support system, even if it's a select few people who believe in you, call you out when you're making mistakes. I don't know if there's anything more important than that. My twin brother and I are very close, so he's the one who calls me out when I'm, you know, acting up, and vice versa. So I'm so thankful now more than ever. I'm still making new friends as well, which is another incredible part about life, is that you meet someone along the way and you're like, where have you been all my life? And so I'm pretty guarded as a person, but I've learned to find others with the same interests and hearts and outlook on life as I do. So whether it's friends I've had, I know my bridal lineup were people I've known from high school, it was very nice having that circle. I'm like, you guys are my sisters. But even then, there's new people that I found along the way. But support is so important. I don't know, you can't walk this life alone. I think you can, sometimes circumstance means that you have to, but I believe that you really do need those 1 or 2 or 3 people just to constantly remind you that you're doing okay. And if you're not, we'll call you out. And if anything happens, we have your back. I'm a believer in it, so I'm very close with my family right now, even my in-laws, so we've become a close circle. It just keeps me sane, having good energy around me. Keeps me very sane. I do not have time for bad energy. It's just completely rebuked and disallowed around because there's already so much going on. All I need is good vibes, good energy, and people who genuinely mean well for you, which you'll realize over time are not that many. Yeah. You know, and once you know that and you're okay with that, then you can live your life.
Like, there's people who are just out there to just pull you down.
Yeah.
And I've had my fair share of experiences, but at the end of the day, it boils down to my family, especially my mom and her sister. My mom will come home, you cry, and she's like, okay, so are you done now? So what happened? Okay, so now let's move on. Cry for 2 minutes, wake up, move on. The world is not going to wait for you. So having her around, like, if you can survive in our house, you can survive anywhere. My mom is tough, like really, really tough. So for me, it boils down to, like, so long as I ask her, so am I doing okay? She's like, yeah, you're doing fine. When you're doing wrong, I'll call you out. So I'm like, okay, fine, then I'm good. But I think women, we need to start really supporting each other and being very genuine about it. Like if you have the time to say yes, but if not, just you're like, okay, fine, I can do it. And I think that's what we don't do a lot. Like you'll tell someone, you're like, yeah, I can do this for you and all, like I'll help you out, and then you don't. And maybe that person actually really needed your help or really wanted you to be there. And then now they'll feel a certain type of way and think that's how all of us, especially at this level, are. Like we'll say yes and then we won't follow through. So that has been like part of my experience. So I take time before I reach out to people and I'm like, okay, let me slow down a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, having women around me is really important because there is the aspect of their journeys that, you know, are so specific to being a woman that you can only share with another woman. And that has been really important to me to have that kind of sisterhood. I mean, I have 2 amazing sisters, but they're younger than me, so we're good friends. But a lot of things like I go through, I can't really like have that, you know, have those conversations with them. But, and also, I mean, my mom, as everyone has said, is an amazing kind of, is an amazing support, but there's still things like I can't go to her about. And so having the balance of this is my mom, I go to my mom for this, I go to my sister for this, I go to my friend for this, and things like that is really important for me. And I think also, for me, having friends has been really important also the times that I feel afraid and the times that I feel like I'm actually not living up to my potential and I need someone just to tell me like, yo, you're better than this, you know, you can do this, or someone to tell you slow down on this and things like that. So having those kind of relationships of people who know you in and out and people who are able to call you out on your bullshit, like many people have said, but still pat you on the back when they're like, oh yeah, that's a really good move, keep doing that. So having those people who are honest. And I think that when you're, as we've been talking about self-awareness, I found that the more self-aware I am, the more I attract people around me who are also the kind of self-aware, the kind of people I want to be around.
Also, as a mom of a girl, you know, there was a quote that I saw and I was like, actually, yeah, this really makes sense. Teach your daughter that not everyone will like her, and that's okay.
Yes. We're in an industry also where people are looking at you and you seek that approval also because it also raises your profile and what you're doing. And I said, whoa, okay, that for me, that's badass, okay? And it really taught me a lesson of being accepting. I think now kind of going to this part of the conversation of finding your voice. I know for me, it was a struggle. I'm naturally an introvert. I'm very guarded. And so when it came to thinking about doing my own show, this also very strongly connected to a woman in my life who saw my potential before I did. And I felt, if I didn't have her in my life, 1, to see the potential of me doing this, 2, to call it out, to draw it out of me, and then now see it coming to fruition, it wouldn't have happened. And then for me also to be comfortable with the voice that I had been given, that it's been there, don't be afraid to use it. And I feel a lot of women can be in that space where you feel, no, it's not worthy of putting out there. No, no one wants to hear what I have to say. And again, you're fighting that imposter voice of, nope, nobody wants to hear what you want to say. But for you ladies, you know, in the journey of finding your voice and being okay with how loud it is at times, how did that happen for you? What was that experience like?
I would credit my mom because she was the reason. You know, she's constantly pushing me and always said to me, don't worry about what other people say. Don't worry about that.
I think the person that you mentioned in terms of your show and nudging you, interestingly enough, for me, that was Farida. Yeah, right, because I was a travel show host, and then when the show ended, I went to the coast. That's where I always find my zen. I grew up there, so I went back home to mom and dad, and I told them I'm just trying to figure stuff out. You know, I've been offered this news thing, but I'm not sure. So she calls me when I'm there, and she says, I need you to come back and just do a screen test. So I just told her, you know, I'm 23. What do you want me to read to the nation at 23? Like, what do you want me to read to the world? And she just said, I just want you to try because I see something in you. And you know, for the rest of the time I was in media, she was always that person. Tough love though, I mean, she can be really tough, but she was always like, I see, and so she pushed me to do the screen test, then I did late night, and then, long story short, ended up on prime time. And even when I left to go to South Africa, she told me, when you get back, get in touch with me. And I did just that. So I came back and I said, I'm back, you know, if there's anything. And she said, and she wasn't that easy with me. She said, I want to see, I mean, I've been watching you, but I want to see if you're able to fit into our, you know, so again, she told me, get back there, do another screen test for me, and kind of nudge me in the right direction, and even nudge me into doing Monday specials. So the other day I had to thank her. I'm like, I don't think I would have done a lot of the things I've done in media if it wasn't for you. And this time she would pick me out to do certain specials when I was like, are you nuts? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And she's like, no, you will. And I know you'll be fine. And so I think in hindsight, it's very important sometimes to have that person. When you have all that doubt and you're like, I'm not sure, and you just have that person saying, I think you're sure. And I think what you've talked about, Victoria, is fear. Just fear of either not being liked or not being appreciated or not doing it right. But I've noticed when I have adrenaline, I tend to perform pretty well. So maybe that really helped. So I would say she's been that constant in terms of career. You know, so right now I feel like I've become more and more ballsy about using my voice. If there's an issue that I just feel isn't right, I'm just going to address it. I wouldn't be ridiculous about it. I wouldn't be careless, like you're saying. But I'll say something. I wasn't like that before. I'd be like, oh, this is just going to get me trolled. Now I'm like, go ahead. I know it struck a nerve somewhere, which is why you're doing what you're doing. And I think it's important because a lot of people don't have that courage. They can't do it. So it's almost like, I'll do it for you. It's cool. So I like that I'm now at a point in my life where there's very little that can bruise me. There's very little that can stand in the way of me speaking my mind or pursuing the things that I want to pursue. It's a really good place to be. It's taken a while, it's been a journey, but I'm really happy to be there right now, where if I need to say something, if it's on my mind, if it's gonna rattle feathers and make people upset, but it's the truth and I feel like it matters to people, I will say it. If there's a certain project that I want to do, I will pursue it. Right now, I'm just very unapologetic about that. So yeah, I've definitely found my voice. I think you continue to mature that voice, but I'd say I'm in a space where I'm more aware of what this voice can do. And it's a good space to be.
One thing I loved you did was when you spoke out basically to the trollers when you were pregnant.
Yeah.
On TV. And I thought, okay, you just mentioned about talking and advocating for people who can't,
yeah,
the voiceless, but you stood up for yourself.
Yeah, I was like, you know, how are you going to tell me I'm too pregnant? What does that even mean? Round two, guys. That's what, oh my God, the trolling was intense. It was, I can't watch, ew, she looks so gross. Yeah, we shouldn't be on TV. All I'm seeing is her belly. How do you say such things? Like, were you laid by an egg? I mean, you came from a womb. So you just insulted every womb on the planet by saying that, including your own mother. Yeah, so such things I cannot tolerate. I go from 0 to 300. If it comes to an attack that affects many people, that's when I don't shut up. You know, and I knew that wasn't just me. That was like womanhood. You've insulted womanhood, so I'm not going to shut up about it.
When I grow up, I have such a voice like yours because, yo, like in my group of friends, I'm the loudest, but like when it comes to like a larger group, I'm always the shy person. And my best friend has been really constant in there. Your voice and your loud mouth will take you places, so please use it. Like she has to text me that almost every day. Like, you're doing this, please use your voice. And then when it comes to social media, I've been very careful about what I post. Like, I'll see Wawira's post and I'm like, go girl. Like, yeah, she's very vocal. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, you are. Very, yeah.
I was going to say that. Oh, come on, you know you are. No, in a great way though, yeah.
She is. Like, and I look at her and I'm like, oh my God. Then I'll try, like, vocalize something and I'm like, no. Back to, okay, what was I talking about? Like, back to education and statistics. I just can't. Until last week when someone now trolled me and I was like, oh, you're too skinny. I was like, hold up. Wait. I was like, so now you're too fat and you're too skinny. So what is it that you want? I was like, what's the right? And I actually got so angry because, yeah, like, and I was just like, yeah, and I was like, okay, so please explain to me what you'd want. Because like, if you knew me and understood and genetics, then you'd done, this is me. You're not getting anything else. So for you to come in like, you're too skinny, I was like, hold up, no. And I think after that, I was like, you know what, I'm just done. Like, now I'll just speak my mind and I went at it with him and I was like, okay, no, I'm done.
That's so interesting because I didn't know that I am bold in my posts because for me, I try to like censor myself as I have more to say, but I censor myself. Yeah. No, but like that is the censored me. Yeah, the censored version of myself, yeah. And I think that for me, it's, okay, I think the way I see it has always been, this is what you get. Like if you're here because of me. So if you want to leave, leave. Like I never look at how many followers I have or things like that. That's something that I don't look at. So if I feel like I want to post something, I will post it. I don't usually look at likes or, you know, and things, because I basically, like my profile isn't on social media. For me, it's just an advantage, but it's not how I, you know, how I do my work and things like that.
This year, the theme for women is Press for Progress.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, in terms of, in your respective spaces, we've talked about how we use our voices, if it's in campaigns, social media, in our circles. How are we really trying to press for progress to ensure that women around us, I know I get a lot of flack sometimes for my show and them saying, oh, you're pushing the feminist agenda. I'm like, if we're to even get in that conversation, please, what is a feminist? Let's begin there. And for me, I thought, we're just talking about issues. You may think like, oh, it's too womanly, you know, and these are women's issues. So what? These are issues people are going through and they want to talk about it, and it's empowering. And this is my bit. Yeah. This is what I'm doing, you know, and I'm wondering for you guys, how are you really trying to press for progress?
Press for progress for me means starting at home. Being the mom of a boy, I'm bringing him up to believe in women, to respect women, and how he treats women, of course, is very important as he grows up. Using my platform to support women, to mentor women, to talk to them about stuff that's, you know, stuff that's okay, yeah, you know, be okay with yourself, and don't mind using your voice, and don't be afraid of it, even if you get into a confrontation with somebody who's really just unimportant. But, you know, just do what you need to do in order to feel your power as a woman. But yeah, for me, again, like I said, it's starting at home and really bringing up my son. Yeah.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I really love what you've just said. It's true, because I'm so aware that I'm raising a boy who's going to be a man. Who's going to be
father of a daughter, maybe.
And I remember growing up, I love how my dad raised us and my brothers. Like they didn't see gender when they saw me, and I feel like I'm one of the few people who can say that, because it just didn't matter what I wanted to do or be. It didn't matter, and so I kind of want him to reflect that. I'm such a supporter of women and women doing their thing and thriving. There's a quote that says, empowered women empower women. And I live by that. If I can sit and have a conversation with someone, and sometimes I come across so many young women who are trying to find their way or trying to figure it out, and I always feel like my role is just to make them realize that's okay. And even when they're feeling like they're not good enough, which a lot of them feel like they're just not good enough or they're not living the life that they want to, it's just to remind them that you're on the right path. You just need to kind of focus and stay within. And when there's women who are doing great, like all of you here, you know, wherever knows I'm a fan of her work, I'm always quick to remind people you're doing an incredible job. That doesn't happen a lot. There's more women, but there's more women wanting to tear you down. And so I would rather be the minority that looks to celebrate and validate the work that women are doing. I just feel like we don't hear it enough. It's not that you're supposed to hear it every day. It's okay to be told you're doing a good job. Through my different platforms, whether it's through my foundation, through the work I do with Help a Child Reach 5, through the work I'm now doing with an organization that's based in the US, it's all about gender equality, and there's something we're rolling out called Better for Kenya. That gender equality is better for Kenya. But I insisted on having men as part of that group, because I'm like, there's a lot of men who support what's happening around with women, but the more we lock them out, that's where the problem, the feminist agenda. Oh, we're the feminazis, remember? There's nothing we haven't been called. There's nothing I haven't been called online. But I think it's time we began to engage them, because there's a lot of them who are looking out for what we're doing. They have daughters and they have wives, so they get it, but we don't hear their voice enough. And very few, like Kaka is one of the people who's going around like talking about sanitary pads. I'm like, you know, I respect you. Like, you're a brave man. but we need more of that, I think. I think if we include them in the conversation, it's not about I'm taking from you. It's the truth is, we don't have a seat at the table yet as much as we want to. We don't have access to the same opportunities. I'm just trying to make sure that's something that can happen. That's progress, is that we're able to at least have a seat on the table. And we're not locked out of the room. The workplace still has a lot of adjusting to do when it comes to women's rights, a lot. Like, it's pretty sad, and a lot of others. So we still have a long way to go. We're getting there. So for me, progress is having the conversations, even if it's a tweet or a Facebook post, but putting the thoughts out there and saying the more of us that talk about this or use these hashtags or have these conversations at home with our friends and our partners and our family, that's progress, because you're planting a seed in people. So whenever I can, I have these conversations. It's 24/7. So that's for me what progress is just having more people rally behind the progress of women and girls. Not that it's taking away from men, it's actually better for everyone when we progress, yeah.
It's okay for you to not get employed, for you to not get, for you to not follow the proper job channel as society requires you to be. So if you have a passion about something, just start it, and start now. And also just giving them that opportunity for, you want to shadow me for one day, come through, come see what I do and see what it's about. Then you can be like, okay, fine, maybe I want to do this or not. So just giving them those opportunities and also talking to them and sort of guiding them through their journey in the few years I've been there and what I've learned. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing a lot more this year. Yeah.
So pressing for progress, I'm trying to, I mean, I have always and trying to do that more, hire more women to work for me, because I find that I work better with women. And also I think that that's something that I really want in my organization, you know, more a culture where I think women bring a specific kind of strength, a specific kind of knowledge in organizations, and really trying to, like, because we're trying to hire more people this year, looking at how can we get more women to work for us. And that's really important to me. I think also trying to create space and create more time with women around me, because I find that that really helps me learn more about the kind of woman I am and the kind of women I want around me. And trying to create opportunities for women around me. I mean, if it's the kids that we feed around 1,600 kids every day, trying to see, you know, for the girls who are in our program, what can we do for them? For the boys who are in our program, what can we do for them? How can we create? I think even for our kids, sometimes they're very surprised. I mean, they know me, but a lot of times they think there's a man somewhere who's like bankrolling this thing, you know, yeah, like a sponsor or something like that. And being very, because before I've always like taken quite, you know, just part of the team, so not being like the forefront person, but being very conscious about, you know, I want these children because they're primary school children, you know, many of them are from slums, they're in public schools, and wanting them to see that a strong woman can lead something and it can provide something for them. They can benefit from something that a woman starts, and something that, you know, like our chefs at the kitchen are, you know, women as well. Seeing them as women who are contributing to their lives and not just seeing the role of women traditionally that has always been, you know, they're just at the back, you know, they're not at the forefront, they're not leading, which is not true, because women have been leading for years. It's just that right now when we say something, you know, with a mic that we've been saying all along, someone goes like feminist agenda, which I get really upset about, because I am a feminist. If you don't believe in women equality, then you're a douche. So yeah, you're a horrible person. What is wrong with you? Yeah.
Absolutely, my goodness. I'm just reminded of women encouraging women, and the other day my daughter, just out of the blue, came up to me and she said, "Mommy, I just want to tell you I appreciate you, and I know you work really hard to give me the life that you do." And so I turned to her and I said, "Where is that coming from?" She said, "I just felt like you needed to hear that." And I was having such a crap day that day. But I mean, I feel that should be a challenge to those watching. And I'll let you guys kind of wrap up in your challenge to other women. Say something. You don't know what that person's going through in that moment, but if you feel the unction to say something, say it. Because you have no idea what it'll mean for them. It may be just the push and boost they need to continue on with whatever project or dream they've been sitting on. Say it, vocalize, and be an encouragement to that person in your life. So I'll wrap up with you guys.
My challenge to women is to do what you do, wherever it is you're doing it, do it with dignity and integrity and authenticity. It's very difficult to have these three attributes, to be able to live in authenticity, to be able to be true to yourself. But don't be afraid, don't follow the rat race just because everybody is doing one thing and in your heart of hearts you want to do another thing. Don't be afraid. Just follow your path, be true to yourself. And really, as women, you know, we were talking about that earlier, you know, this whole sponsoring thing, phenomenon that's going around. There is the easy path and there's the road less traveled. Be able to lay your head down on the pillow at night and say that you did what you did, and you did it with dignity and integrity, and you are able to live with yourself. So that's my challenge to you.
I think I would say, if you're not looking after yourself and understanding what your needs are, then I think it's going to be difficult for you to pay that forward. The other day I put up a post saying you can't give from an empty cup. So you need to fill yours to be able to let that flow out to other people. So as a woman, you know, the whole thing for tearing each other down or feeling like you're not important, try and do away with the noise and just come to a point of saying, I'm here, I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I'm trying to love who I am so that I can share that with other people. And use your light and shine it as much as you can. You never know. You don't have to impact 1 million people. You could just change one person's life by living a most authentic version of your own life. And I think just stay true to who you are. Feel good about yourself. There's not a lot of good things being said to and about women. Social media has become really sexist in many ways, and it can be pretty intrusive and abusive. Don't listen to that. You need to understand that you're a great human being who has so much to give. So tap into that and forget a lot about what the naysayers are saying. Tap into your potential, tap into who you believe you are, and let that shine. And yeah, just keep owning it. It's a great time to be a woman right now, so get with the program. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
So for me, it's like more in tune with self-care. Just forgive yourself. And it's okay to fail. Like, it's really, really okay to fail, but then also learn from your mistakes and just move on from there. I'm living with a mantra of test fast, fail fast. And it's okay to do that. And just forgive yourself and be okay with yourself. And at the same time, pray and ask for guidance and strength, because this journey is hard. It's not easy. It's the best time to be a woman, but also it's not the easiest time to be a woman right now. So you need a lot of guidance and you need a lot of strength. So yes, a lot of prayer is needed.
Surround yourself with women who will lift you up. I mean, I can't explain how much it is important to be with, you know, with people, women and men, who really understand you and who really cheer you on and who encourage you. There are many decisions that I've made in my life and opportunities I've gone for that I felt that I wasn't qualified for. But I asked someone, do you think I should apply for this? And they said, yeah, of course, you know, why would you not apply for this? And the voice in my head, if I'd just listened to myself, I'd have not done it. But because someone pushed me, I went towards it. So, I mean, be self-aware and also surround yourself with people who feed your spirit, feed your mind, and help you have a strong community and be able to influence other people around you.
Wow. Beautiful place to leave it. Thank you so much, ladies. I feel so empowered after this session. My goodness. And I hope those watching this session do as well. Keep up these conversations on power and purpose. Embrace your power and also live in purpose. I heard a quote from T.D. Jakes recently, and he said, honor the space you're in now with your best effort. So wherever you are, don't look at so-and-so who's winning and they're in their glow up and you're not yet. You will be soon. So keep building your character, because you never know, that's also going to do justice to the person you're going to eventually become and the platform that you will have. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time of day you're watching this, and keep the conversation going. Bye.